Hi Crafty friend, it's me, Justine, and today I'm going to be making some wax seals and making 3 projects with them. So I hope that you are excited like me. I'm going to be mixing some wax today, which is a little different than my usual, but I have to tell you about my new favorite wax color. This one is called Opal, and it is just gorgeous. This is the result of what it looks like. Hopefully I can show you. So you might be saying, oh, that's a little bit bigger than your normal ones. Yes, and that's because the Opal is just a little more, I guess, runny. I don't think runny is really the right word, but it definitely is thinner when it's hot. So I typically start with 5 beads in my wax seal when I start out, but knowing that some of that will stay in the spoon, about 4 will pour out. But this Opal is a little bit thinner, I would say. I mean, it still makes a really nice wax seal. It's my favorite color, so. But it is definitely pouring out more than normal. So what I did was I didn't clean off my spoon from last time. I left some of that Opal in there because I knew I'd be using some of it on camera today. So I want to show you, first of all, how I wax seal. So that's going to be my first pour, and I'm going to put in 4 of them because there is just a tiny bit left in there. And then I'm going to mix some wax seals, and then I have some projects here that I'm going to use with some new products, and this will be really fun. But as that melts, I'm going to talk to you about some new colors. So we have the color Ink. That is a very beautiful, very deep blue. It is gorgeous. I love the way that this looks with some silver paint pen on there. It is just so pretty. It's kind of like a midnight blue look. Anyway, and then we have Cotton Candy, which is a beautiful pink. Velvet Rose, which matches the paper that Spellbinders has. It's called Velvet Rose. Just saying. Come back to this in a second. Misty Pistachio. By the way, Misty is kind of a periwinkle color, which is really beautiful. And then Pistachio, which I did here, and then of course the Opal. So you can see my wax is starting to melt a little bit. I'm just going to move it around, and it needs a little bit more time, but I do like to kind of wiggle it every once in a while. Anyway, and then we have the Opal. But Spellbinders also has these new packs that are all mixed up. So it's the must-have wax bead mix. And that one is the teal kind of colors, and it has some teal, it has gold. It's gorgeous, and I have not even opened it up yet, but I wanted to wait and do it with you on camera because I thought it would be more fun. But I've definitely mixed wax seals in the past. You can see here on my desk I have this one, which I mixed Pistachio and Ink and got some really fun results with that. But I think my Opal's all ready. So I'm going to go ahead and I kind of stabilize my hand on the desk, and I just kind of turn my spoon. And there's not really a race to get this done quickly. It's not going to harden in seconds. You can let that sit. So you can see I just rotated the spoon, not my whole hand. If you want a round wax seal, I think that is my biggest tip for you. All right, I'm going to set that off to the side for just a second. Grabbing my stamp, and I will just let that fall lightly on to the wax, just like that. Now it does take practice, so I'm just telling you. But the wax stamp that I'm using is called Timeless Blooms. It is gorgeous. I am loving this one, and I think it is timeless, so just telling you. Okay, I really wanted to do some of the mixing, so I'm going to go ahead and clean off my spoon. I use paper towels for this. So like anything, if you're working with a flame, you got to be careful. Everything is hot. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scoop it out and clean it up just a hair here. Like so. Nothing too crazy. I know a lot of people have commented on my wax seal videos like, why don't you use a glue gun and do all of that? Well, I don't get to use these pretty colors then, and I do like working with a flame. There's something kind of timeless about using a spoon and a flame. It just feels very classic, and I don't know. I've never burned myself, so it's not really that big of a deal to me. Okay, let's open up this teal wax mix. Now I am just cutting into these packages on the side because I store my wax beads in a kind of like a jewelry box that's not really a jewelry box, like a tackle box or a bead sorter. It's here, I'll just show you. It's nothing high tech. In fact, my husband got this one at a garage sale, so you can see there, but I do like to store the little tag of what color it is in there with the wax so I know what color it is. But I haven't opened up and done that with these yet. But if you wanted to, you can carefully take the staples off like so. And then it comes in a little zipper pouch, so you don't have to worry about things falling out. You just open up the zipper pouch carefully. So I'll do that for you on camera. Let's see, we have the teal mix. Let's see what we're working with. We have kind of a light teal, a dark teal, a gold, and a solid one. So these three are metallic. And like I've said before on my wax videos, I noticed that metallic ones do warm up a little bit quicker than the other ones. So I'm going to pop 4 of these in. I'm actually going to put 5 in. I'm going to put another gold one in just because this is a clean spoon. And as that melts, I can lift this off. That was almost effortless just to lift that up. And here's a look at the opal one. Isn't that pretty? It really does look like an opal gem, like the stone. It has those blue purpley tones to it, but it's certainly a white look. So I love that. Anyway, this one is a little bit chunky for my liking. I might use it on the project as is because it is kind of fun to have unique kind of lumpy wax seals. I do like the rounder ones, but whatever. If I wanted to melt this one down, all you do is just cut it with the scissors. I use maybe 1/4, and then you can remelt it, and it's not even a big deal. So if you're struggling with getting your wax seals to look how you want, just know you can always remelt them again. With the different kind of a mix of the wax seals, I do like to just kind of let them melt as they are in there and let them kind of mix as they're on the mat here and not stir it too much with my toothpick, but it just kind of depends on your preference. If you don't want to use toothpicks, you could use the pokey part of your tool-in one or any kind of a pokey area, but I don't know, toothpicks for me are pretty easy, and I got this whole container from, I think, Dollar Tree. So there's 250 in here. This should last me a long time. Okay, it's still melting, and we'll just kind of look. Yeah, it's still melting. Okay. It's kind of fun because everything's metallic except this teal color. So we'll see how this looks. And remember, I put in 2 golds and 1 of all the other ones. The edges are certainly getting more melted than the center, so just kind of let it cook, if you will. Now you will get a little bit of soot underneath your spoon. That is normal. That's why I have this paper towel here. I don't like to put the soot on the silicone mat just because it kind of stains it. So just an FYI for you. All right, I think that is good to go. I'm just going to point with my toothpick. You can kind of see those 4 areas there were those wax beads, but I think they are melted enough where I'm just going to go with it. So again, kind of anchoring my hand down and just tilting the spoon. And now I'm just pouring it straight in, not moving my hand, just tilting the spoon. Okay, that looks great. Very interesting to see all those colors mixed together. And I'll just lightly let that fall like so. And kind of clean up the edge of my spoon here. And I like to wipe off any soot that's under there just to keep it semi-clean. Okay, let's do another one with some more of these bead colors. Or should we mix some of these? Let's mix some of those just for fun. The nice thing about these mix packs, there's a few different mix packs that they have, but you can buy a mix pack and get 4 new colors. I'm going to take that off of the flame as I pick my colors here. Let's see. What projects do I have planned? I have this one. This one I don't have a seal for. Let's do this one with pink and blue. So we'll use 1 blue. Let's use 2 cotton candies. Or just one. Let's use 1 cotton candy. And then I'll use 1 of the Velvet Rose. And now I just remember that I did not clean up my spoon from my last pour, but you know, that's gonna be fine. We're just gonna go with it. 1 and 2. So we'll just let that melt and we'll check on this guy. It's probably all set. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. That is better than I thought it would turn out. Okay, I'm gonna hold this with my I'm just gonna set it on here so you can kind of see all the colors, but you can kind of see all of the depth to that, hopefully. It's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna grab my phone with the flashlight so you can see all of the colors because it is pretty remarkable. Don't mind my inky fingers, that is my life. But you can see how pretty that is. I was using a whole bunch of ink this morning with, here's the back, with Simon Hurley's collection with a really fun little Easter set that's coming out, and I'll have that video on my channel in a couple days, but it is just really cute. But this is gorgeous. Look at that. Okay. All right. Well, now we have our wax seals, and I think, let's see, this one's going to be for that project. How about my tag? I think I'm going to use one of the mixed ones, or should I use green, pistachio? It's hard not to get distracted with this, but I just want to make sure nothing is melting too crazy. Maybe I will mix a cotton candy with the ink for this one. Should I show you what it looks like when you kind of mix it? I'm going to give it a little swirl. So the key to using the swirl method is to not over mix it. I would say do maybe 1.5 circles in there, but don't go crazy, because if you mix it up a whole bunch, it's going to turn into one color. All right, I think this is all set and ready to go. It's actually probably a little too warm. I do see some bubbles forming in the spoon. You can kind of see there. So I'm going to let it cool for just a second. And I'm actually going to pop those bubbles because it is kind of my pet peeve when I have a wax seal and it has a bubble on the edge. I just don't really prefer the look of that. Okay, let's just give it a try. This so reminds me of acrylic paint pouring. I think this is so cool. And you've gotta try it if you have wax seals. Mix. And you know, you don't even have to buy any new ones. If you don't like the new colors, you can shop your stash and get some. Mix and going. Remember I said I don't like bubbles on the side. Well, if you're careful enough, you can kind of poke them like I just did right there. But use with caution because I have poked it before and wrecked the whole seal. So just saying. I'm going to clean out my spoon and get ready to make some projects with these wax seals. As you might know, I have been trying to get organized in my craft room. I'm going to be moving down into my craft room hopefully very, very soon. But I am going to be creating some zones for my new craft space and organizing my materials by subject, if you will. I'm kind of taking the teacher mode. For example, in my classroom, I have all of the phonics stuff in one area, all of the math materials in one area, and then all of the kind of penmanship and games in one area. So why not do that in my craft room? I'm going to make a zone, and I've started doing it with my wax seal stuff briefly, but I've put all of my wax seal favorites, I've even labeled it like that, into this package. And this has all of the dies that I like for wax sealing. So if I'm ready to wax seal and I want a little sprig or something, I can just go to this one area, and I'm really liking kind of the opportunity for organization that I'm kind of building for myself. So that is really exciting me, and I'm digging it. Okay, looking at this on the project, I'm not loving the colors. So I really do like this wax seal. I just don't think that this is the project for it. So I'm going to set it aside and use it on another project for another day. But would this one be kind of fun? I think it might. Might have to tie in some magenta gems or something just to tie in that color, but I think that will work. And then this. That's my last one. Maybe for this one I'll use that super chunky one. Is it too chunky? Maybe that. Okay, we're gonna go with pistachio because it does look good with my little sprig that we have here. I am feeling so indecisive today. We're gonna go with the opal because it's gorgeous. Okay, moving on. All right, these will go off to the side, and I actually will store them. I don't know if you noticed before, but when I store my wax seals, I like to put all of the finished ones with the beads. So these are going to go with my pistachio beads. That's just how I like to use it. Now, I did plan out using this opal on another project, and what I ended up doing, because you can kind of see it see-through, I have a little hack for it because I don't want it to be see-through per se. So I actually glued this on to some white paper, and then once that dried a minute or two, I took my scissors and just cut the paper around it, so when it was on my project you can't see through it. So we'll let that dry, and I'll get to that in a second. But I have a little hack here for you. This video is kind of a I don't know, a little bit all over the place, but there's a lot of little tips kind of mixed in, so hopefully it's not too much all over the place. But I wanted to show you when I'm using a bundle of sprigs like this, and you want the sprigs to look good on the top, but you also want the bottom to look nice as well. So to do that, I like to arrange it on my project and just use a little bit of craft tape like this to hold everything in place. No glue or anything yet, just to see how everything looks and get the layers on top to look just right. Then, if the bottom looks weird after you have all those layers, you can actually just cut it right here and then arrange these how you want. But for whatever reason, this time they did turn out just fine, so I don't need to cut any of those. So to finish this up, I'm just gonna put some glue on the back and then stick my wax seal on. So let's talk about the stuff I used on this, the products I used on this card to make this happen. So the background is Better Pressed, which I love, and that was the really gorgeous new Better Press plate that just came out. I'll grab the name for it in just a second here. So that one is called Kaleidoscope Garden, which is just so beautiful. And then you can see the sentiment here was the Better Press sentiment that's from the Poppy collection that just came out. So what I did with that was, it's a gorgeous plate. It's a use once or press once and then die cut once. And it is just one of my favorite sentiments for now, to use one press plate and then die cut it once. So I love that. And then the sprigs that I used on this were called Sealed Bloomings Stemmed Etch Dies from the Sealed for Summer collection. And then of course I have my wax seal, which was the Timeless Blooms, the new stamp that just came out. So then on this tag I have the For You, and I'm also using For You over here as well, and that is from the new collection that just came out this month, January. The Fresh Picked, and it's called Fresh Picked Sentiments, and so that is on both of my projects here. And then this embossing folder that I have on the back of this one was the embossing folder from the Fresh Picked collection as well, and I'm using the deboss side. For whatever reason, the deboss side on this one is just like really speaking to me, so I've got that going on my background. And then this little sprig is so cute. I love, love, love the look of this one. It is from Wendy's new collection that just came out with Spellbinders. And this is from the Vintage Florals from her collection, From the Garden is what that collection is called. And then this twine here I have, this is a very special twine, so I had to be very sparing with it on the back. You can see I just did a little bit of that, and I will have that linked in the description. I don't remember the name of it right now, but that will be linked in the description. It is from Spellbinders. And then lastly on this one I have a circle die. That is the Fluted Classics Circles, which I got for Christmas from my sister-in-law, and I have been using it every day. So I love that die set. I know it's one that's been around on Spellbinders for a while, but I'm just now coming to the party with that. Okay, and then lastly, the stencil on the back here is another really fun stencil from Spellbinders. I love the look of that. I think that was with some Distress Oxide. Ooh, what color was that? That was with Rustic Wilderness. And then the stencil for that is called Kaleidoscope Window, and that one I think is just kind of timeless. I love the look of that. So anyway, let's get to finishing up this project here. Now that I've told you all the supplies, I know that I have had a few comments in the past couple weeks, and there are a few people saying, like, tell us the colors and tell us, you know, the colors of the paper and the ink. I can sometimes do that and sometimes I cannot. I received a whole bunch of paper from some neighbors, my mother, my family, extended family, I guess, and I have some paper that I have no idea where it came from. It might be from Stampin' Up! From 1995. It might be from Craftstruct and they bought too much of it last month. You know, I really just don't know sometimes. So I'm sorry if that bothers you. I try my best to tell you, but if I don't know, I'm not going to say where it came from if I don't know. So anyway. Okay, a little tip with tags. I've been kind of going on a tag craze here. And whenever I put tags in, I always want to remember that the ribbon dives into the tag. If you come up from the top, the tag will be backwards. So I always like to dive into the tag, like so, and then make my little loop and pull it through. I am going to lightly burn the edges of this ribbon just so it does not come apart and it stays pretty like so. So I will do that on camera too, because why not? We're showing all the little odd bits and bobs of of today. I think I'm going to have 2 short ones and 2 long ones. Longer, I guess. And I always cut at an angle just because I think it looks pretty. There's really no other reason for that. Because it doesn't really stop it from unraveling. At least this ribbon does not. Okay, speaking of where I got everything from. The ribbon I bought from Amazon in this giant package. So I don't know the company. It was probably one of those random companies that sells on Amazon. I don't know. So there's that. Then with burning, I just kind of pass through a couple times quick and Hopefully nothing melts too much, but it's just enough to stop the ribbon from unraveling. Again, you're working with flames, so be careful. This is the most dangerous part about the craft room is flames. Anyway, now let's put my little wax seal on. Can you use double-sided tape or a sticky to put this on? Sure, but the glue is out and ready to go on my spot, so that's what I'm using today. And then to finish up this one, I'm going to go with silver. Even though there's gold on this one, I think that this is just a really pretty, playful little tag, and I think the silver is looking fabulous. So if you're wondering, this is the, I just got it all over, so now I get to show you another tip. Okay, this is the Deco Color paint pen, and I'll show you how to get it off the areas that you don't want, because I just did that. Just chatting away, that's what happens. Oh goodness, this video is already 30 minutes long. Okay, fun. Okay, if it's where you don't want it to be, take your tool-in-one like this, and you just kind of lightly scrape off the paint. And it is just a very small little scrape. It doesn't damage the wax, so you'll be fine, and it doesn't look too bad. And it's a quick fix, I'm just saying. So there you go. Okay, and then let's finish up this one. I will just show you the cutting of this, and then kind of keep her moving here on the video. I love my Spellbinders shears. They are just so sharp and they fit so nicely in my hand. All right, there's my little seal. So I just want to show you quickly the difference between having the paper behind it and not. So you can see the ribbon through. It is not showing up on camera. How about that? You can see the ribbon through on one and not on the other because of that white paper behind. It's just making a little bit of a wax, a barrier, so you can't see through it as much. Okay, so for the For You, I have 3 layers. Yes, 3. I know, my too much steam kicked in again, and I think that it's kind of fun to give it a shadow. So I went with navy, white, and pink, and I just layered those up with some liquid glue and then kind of put the letters off to the side so there's a consistent shade going on. Just a little bit to the right. And I think that shadow is just kind of fun, and it's a very quick way to kind of beef up the die. Another way is to add white gel pen like I did on this one and just give it some shiny spots. There you have it. For You. Okay, then I have my little sprig, which I wanted to put on the left with my wax seal. Now I want this greenery to be longer, so I'm going to cut it and stretch it so it is longer. So my greenery is going to go right about there, and the wax seal will hide that spot where it is disrupted. So we'll pop the greenery on first, and I did add a little bit of white gel pen to the flowers and stems too, just for some fun and some dimension, because why not, you know? And then the leaf stem, I just want to make sure that this follows the angle of the existing top so it's not wonky looking. That looks good to me. And then I will put on the For You. That looks great. Now I'll just take some of my double-sided tape and stick this on to my card front, and we'll be good to go. The embossed side of this paper is gorgeous as well. I just really like the look of the debossed side. I think it is just really different and unique from other folders that have come out recently. So I am all for playing around with your supplies. So if you like the back, use the back. Who cares? Okay, and then we'll put that right on top like so. And I will add a little bit of the gold paint pen to this, and I'll show you the results. And I'm probably going to add some embellishments to these as well, but I'll be right back. All right, I don't even know which one is going to be my favorite because I love the way they look after adding these embellishments. Okay, the first one I added the oyster, which is again from Spellbinders. It's like these little pearls. They're just very pretty. You can tell I like them. I've used half the package. But I just popped 3 of those on there. And then on this one, I started with the Fashion Silver, these big chunky ones. And then I had these 2 that were remaining from an old card kit. And then I added these little gems, which were from a nail decorating pack. And then lastly on this one, I just added some dimensional dots. I used the 2-tone blue and I used the darker blue on here. And then there's that wax seal with the gold on it. I just absolutely love the way that these 3 turned out, and I can't wait to send them away to somebody who is going to love them. So we'll see how that goes. If you've watched all the way through to this part of the video, make sure to let me know what your favorite in the comments. I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would be this fun tag because it's a little bit different than things that I've made in the past, and it just kind of is speaking to me, if you will. So I just really like this one. But let me know your favorites in the comments. Maybe it's one of these. Anyway, well, have a great rest of your day. Be grateful all day and every day. Bye, crafty friend.